Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Morning Show. We have three topics for you this morning. If you've been watching CNBC at all after 4:30 Eastern yesterday, when NVIDIA released their earnings, they needed a perfect quarter. They got the perfect quarter. They absolutely crushed it. They were up 10%, then 12% at the open this morning, and it's really carrying the whole tech sector higher. NASDAQ up 2% pretty much across the board. So what we're going to talk to this morning is not about NVIDIA, which you probably already know about, but it's what other stocks are being helped out there. And specifically, two ego stocks that Mike's going to talk about are Toast and Dash. Both of these are in the restaurant industry. DoorDash, you're probably already familiar with. Toast, you may have used it and not even known what it was, but it's pretty cool. Mike's going to talk about that and those stocks as well. And then last, if you need something to maybe step out of this crazy tech world, we're going to talk Social Securities. I'm going to run you through a quiz that CNBC said only less than 1% of Americans can answer all 13 of these questions correctly. So I'll run you through those questions real quick, and then that's what we have for you today. Before we get started, reminder that this is a financial education presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence before acting upon anything you hear in this presentation. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. With that, over to you, Mike. Tell us about NVIDIA and then Toast and Dash.
Yes, NVIDIA, fantastic quarter and year. So much that I just have to share this. And fantastic numbers, up 22% just from last quarter and 265% revenue up from a year ago. So up to 22 billion. So basically 3 times the revenue. And then you throw on their earnings, and and some of you may be wondering, like, oh, I don't own NVIDIA, and that's unfortunate if you don't have exact holdings in NVIDIA, but you do have exposure to it through our investing portfolio, because we're in all kinds of tech stocks, and a lot of times they go up together. I just have to show the chart. Steve mentioned it was up 12% after market. It's up 15% right now, and one thing is when you look at something like this, and I'll never forget, many years ago, I had an intern that worked for me, and he was like, look at Cisco. It was in 1999. He was like, look at Cisco, and the chart looked just like this. And he was like, if we just put money in Cisco the rest of my life, I'll have, $1 billion or something like that. And I'm not going to bring up Cisco now, but, things fly high for a while, but then they come down. So, is this a great time to buy NVIDIA? Who knows? I mean, it may keep on going up at this rate, but at some point it'll slow down. It's already the third biggest stock in market cap behind Apple and Microsoft, still trailing them by about $1 trillion, but third biggest, so that's really good. The stocks I want to talk to today about ego stocks are 2 of them, and they're both in the restaurant industry. So something that we're never going to get away from. So definitely has a good thesis. The first is Toast. And I want to bring up that chart and show you. And we started investing in this back in January in some accounts. And it's done very well. Had some earnings come out that were surprised to the upside good, volatile stock. And what they do is they actually have the software that many restaurants manage their systems off of. So probably, I don't know exactly which restaurants, probably not McDonald's and Burger King, not the big, huge ones. They probably have their own software, but the small ones that where they're not going to build their own software package. So Toast is in that industry. You probably have been to restaurants where they use Toast. It's not the old cash register anymore. So this is a stock we're in. I show the earnings on this just because this is a stock that's moving from, taking losses each quarter. It's on the verge of profitability. And it is a, $10 billion stock. Let's see, market cap $11 billion stock. So it is solidly in the mid cap range. So good enough that they're going to be in business and big enough that they can grow, but not so big that they can't grow rapidly. And that's why it's one of our ego exponential growth opportunity stocks. So since I'm staying with the restaurant, and I want to bring this up. So we talk about different trends and thematic investing. One trend, and for any of you with kids and you're familiar with all their friends, is less kids are driving nowadays. So I have this article up. I just found one. Why are fewer teenagers driving nowadays? I've got a bunch of teens. I'm okay with less driving because, less cars, car insurance. Probably one of the reasons I didn't go through the whole article. One reason is car insurance is through the roof, very expensive. I've got a daughter, just got her car insurance bill. She just got her license. Very expensive. This would be a reason teenagers should not be driving. She probably can't make enough money to pay her car insurance. So, how does that affect us? How does that affect the restaurant industry? I have noticed a trend where at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, my kid says, please take me to Taco Bell, please take me to McDonald's, something like that. And I'm like, first of all, I pay for food in the house. I'm not taking you out, driving you around. I'm not your Uber service. You have your own money. Tell me what you want to order and I can get it from the grocery store. But for fast food, you're on your own. I have noticed a trend where 30 minutes later, my doorbell rings and DoorDash has arrived. So my kid has downloaded the app. She's able to use the money she makes to buy DoorDash when she wants. And we like DoorDash. So that is one of our ego stocks. So, less driving for kids. I've used DoorDash occasionally myself. There is a times that I will use it, but not very often. But the young people that are driving less, they're still eating fast food, whether that's good or bad. This is not a health show, but DoorDash is a solid stock that we are in, that we like. So anyways, bringing that up, this stock market cap almost 50 billion. So it's moved definitely into the large cap area. But the other day they had earnings. They took a few more losses than expected, and you can see the stock dropped. But then already today it's rebounded. And Nvidia driving the tech sector today. We all benefit in these other stocks. So there's just a couple that I wanted to cover. I'll turn it back over to Steve.
No, that's great stuff. And of course, the restaurant industry, when you talk about investable theses, right, across the board, we're all going to eat, and it solves two specific problems, right, that Mike talked about. And of interest, I don't know if it's TOST or not, but my family and I were over in Tokyo for over Christmas break, just to see it. And we went into a restaurant. It was an Italian restaurant in Tokyo, of all things, right? And we ordered right off. We went to order and we thought it was going to be a problem because the English thing, and the guy just pointed at the QR code, and right there we went right to either TOST or a TOST-like thing where you ordered off the app in the restaurant and paid through the credit card right there, and boom, all the waiter did was bring us our stuff and kind of check in on us every now and then. So again, solving that whole efficiency thing that kind of post COVID, a lot of people lost their jobs in the restaurant industry because nobody could go out. They got jobs somewhere else. And then when the restaurants opened, it was you go to a restaurant and they're like, well, it'll be a 15-minute wait, and you're looking at 2/3 of the restaurant's empty. And that was weird. Now that's like normal, right? You show up and you're like, oh, they must just not have the wait staff here. We're always looking to invest in things that are solving specific problems out there. So I will close with a far less exciting topic, but it's important and it affects everybody that lives into that age, which is most everybody, and that's Social Security. I know the first thing out of everybody's mouth when I say Social Security is it's not going to be there when I get there. It's like, well, yeah, it's most things. There's no way anybody can kill it off, regardless of what you think of it. But will it be there in the same form? I don't know. We'll have to see, but it is going to affect basically everybody. So I'll bring it up, and disclaimer here specifically is, even if you think you know your exact situation, about a year out before you're starting to think about Social Security, engage with a financial professional, either with us or make an appointment down to the Social Security office. It can be so confusing. There are literally so many little rules out there. There's no way this presentation is covering your situation, is exactly what I'm saying. So your own due diligence stuff for sure. But yeah, I thought this article was interesting. Failed or barely passed the Social Security quiz, and then less than 1% got them all right. So let's go through the questions real quick. In most cases, if I take benefits before my full retirement age, they will be reduced for early filing. Yes, that's true. Remember that full retirement age creeps up. It used to be 65 for everybody. I think I'm 67, but That's one of the things they keep adjusting to the right because we're living longer. And, that helps, it costs the government less money if they move that to the right. Second, if I'm receiving benefits at full retirement age and continue to work, benefits might be reduced. That is correct. So before you claim, you need to figure, are you really stepping away? And then you have to go in and look at the exact limits of how much you can make before it does affect things. So that's true. 3, if I have a spouse, he or she can receive benefits from my record, even if they have no individual earnings. Yes, that's absolutely true. Much like a spousal IRA, everything is designed to take care of a stay-home spouse, right? If somebody's running the household and not in the workforce, they still have the ability to take advantage of all these things. So that's true as well. Number 4, if I have a spouse and he or she passes away, I will receive both my full benefit and my deceased spouse full benefit. Nope, not true. So you're both clipping along and you're getting whatever you're getting, and somebody passes away, which will happen eventually. You don't get both, you get the better of the two. Mileage may vary, right? So circumstances apply, but generally you get the higher of the two. So if you're the lower one, you get to move up, but you don't get both. All right, 5, generally, if I'm in a same-sex marriage, there are different eligibility requirements when it comes to Social Security retirement benefits. Absolutely not. Same-sex marriages are treated just like any other marriage out there as far as the Social Security is concerned. 6, the money that comes out of my paycheck for Social Security goes into a specific account for me and remains there, earning interest until I begin to receive Social Security benefits. Of course, that's not true. That's what everybody kind of thinks. And if you remember George Bush Jr., if you will, was talking about, hey, there's a big push to have this happen because technically it's your money. But just like when you put money in the bank, there's not an envelope with Mike or Steve on it with our cash sitting in it, right? The money goes in electronic ledger and it can go back out and give you loan, blah, 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 banking, right? So no, your money is cool. 7, if I get divorced, I might be able to collect Social Security benefits based on my ex-spouse's Social Security earnings history. That is absolutely true. So if you're married, I believe the number is 10 years. You can, and you might be married from age 20 to age 30. You can still collect years later. So even if it's not an amicable breakup, pay attention, right? Because there may be some benefits you can get down the road. Number 8, under current law, Social Security benefits could be reduced by 20% or more for everyone by 2035. That is absolutely true. So why it says under current law is because there is an expectation, 2035, 10 years ago, it's like 2035. Who cares? You'll worry about that later. 2035 is 11 years away, if my math is correct. And that's going to come up pretty quick if something doesn't happen. So there's different rules out there. They're looking at, you pay into Social Security up to a certain amount. They're looking at taking that up to 250,000. They're also looking at some other changes. They can move retirement ages. Nobody really wants to reduce benefits. It's often called the third rail of politics, if you're familiar with that analogy. So who's going to touch that? Not anybody in an election year. And, the government doesn't like to do what I call adulting anyway. So, have to get kind of scary before they actually put some reform in place. All right, number 9. Nope, we just did number 9. Number 10, if I file for retirement benefits and I have dependent children age 18 or younger, they may also qualify for Social Security benefits. Absolutely true. And you're like, well, how is that possible? Well, yeah, it's possible, right? I'm just saying it's possible. And those benefits are quite large. So I have a client in that current situation, a couple of children, and quite a bit of money. And that money goes to them. It's the kids' money. So pretty interesting because they're minors, obviously. So it has to go into separate accounts for them. But, that is absolutely true. All right, number 11, if I delay taking Social Security benefits past the age of 70, I will continue to get delayed retirement credit increases each year I wait. That is not true. So do not sleep through the ages of 62 through 70. There's a decision that needs to be made in there. So that's 8 years. If you go past that, you can technically go to 70 and a half because if you're after 70, you get a 6-month look back. So if you wait till 70 and then, something happens on the way to the Social Security office to file or online, right? But you do get a 6-month buffer there. But yeah, past that, you're just leaving money on the table and that is on you. All right, number 12, this is one I had to put like a little asterisk by. Social Security retirement benefits are subject to income tax just like withdrawals from a traditional IRA account. This is that test question that will trick you. You could know exactly the rules and still miss the question, right? So it's technically false. Now, if it's Social Security retirement benefits are subject to income tax, that part of the sentence is true. Just like withdrawals from a traditional IRA account, that's not true. So Social Security benefits are taxed at 85%, where withdrawals from a traditional IRA account is taxed at 100%. So I had to think about that one. I eventually went false because I think they're trying to trick me. I was correct, but I could see a lot of people missing that. And last one, I must be a U.S. citizen to collect Social Security retirement benefits. Absolutely not. If you pay in, that's your money. You're going to get benefits back out of it. So again, close with the disclosure there that before you make that decision, engage with a financial professional, do a lot of homework. As the more homework you do, the more confused you might be if you're certainly in a different situation. But don't take this decision lightly because it does affect you for the rest of your life and it's irreversible. So thanks again for listening today. That's all we have for you. And we will see you guys back tomorrow. Bye.